Focus on Abilities is brought to you by Tier Memorial Herman, redefining rehabilitation, removing barriers, re-enabling independence. In the ILRU Southwest ADA Center, promoting compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Welcome to Focus on Abilities, a program about issues affecting the lives of people with disabilities. I'm Lex Frieden. I'll be your host for today's program. I'm professor at the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, and I direct the Independent Living Research Utilization Program at Tier Memorial Herman. Today we have an interesting guest. I'll introduce him right after I ask you this question. What would you have done if you'd been on the disabled cruise ship Triumph, lost at sea, and having 3 days to spend with no electricity, no elevators, and you're in a wheelchair? We'll talk about this right after this break. Stay tuned. It's Focus on Abilities. This is Focus on Abilities on HTV, and I'm your host, Lex Frieden. We've got a great show for you today. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest, Hank Torres. Hank, welcome to Focus on Abilities.
It's glad to be here, and thanks for inviting me, Lex.
Hank, now you are an inventor, an explorer, a person with all kinds of experience living with a disability. I'd like to know a little more about your background, Hank. You obviously use a wheelchair for mobility. How did you get there?
Back in '77, when I was 22 years old, when you're pretty much indestructible, I was into snowmobiles and hang gliding, and we combined the two. We've been doing it for a while. And one day we got up early in the morning and decided to try it out on the cornfield.
Oh, wait a minute. Snowmobiles and hang gliding. So you, I got this with the hang glider, right? You got to have a lot of wind.
Well, we didn't need wind with a snowmobile. We created our own wind.
Oh my gosh! You tied the parachute
to the back end of the snowmobile.
Right.
And we did it quite a bit. I mean, we've done it before. And
where was this, in Iowa?
This is in Illinois.
Illinois.
And the tow rope broke. Or the reason it broke was because I didn't count. Tow rope had plenty of strength for the poundage on it to pull me. But what we didn't consider was the cold. How cold it was. It was reaching 40 below sometimes with the wind chill that day.
So let me get this straight. Whose idea was this cockamamie thing of putting a parachute on a snowmobile and driving like heck?
Careful how you say that. It was my idea.
Oh, sorry about that. Were you a student at the time in Illinois?
No, I worked construction at that time. I was a journeyman cement mason when I broke my neck.
Okay. Well, so you engineered this outright, except you didn't consider what the effect the cold would have.
Exactly. While being towed, it snapped, and when you're hang gliding, you're at this angle, but when you're towed, you're more angle. And when it snapped, it shot me up and stalled, going down and just like a leaf, and stuck head first right in the ground.
So the snowmobile got pulled up, and then it popped, and you did a header right straight into the ground.
Pretty much. I was about as high as a telephone pole when the rope broke.
Oh my God.
It broke and it shot me up about as high as a telephone pole.
Wow.
And I spent the next 9.5 months in the hospital.
Gee, what all did you break besides your neck?
I split my femur up the middle, 3 ribs, something to do with my shoulder, I really can't remember. And broken neck, dislocated cervical 4 and 5.
Did you get disconnected from the snowmobile when it went down, or you were still in the seat when it crashed?
No, I was in the hang glider.
Oh, good.
You know, my friend was pulling me in the snowmobile.
Okay.
So I was up in the air, and
so the chute basically failed.
The rope failed. The rope snapped right in front of me. I watched it snap right in front of me. And then I just knew bad things were going to happen.
Oh, good grief. So you spent the 9.5 months in the hospital, and after that, because of the broken neck, you were paralyzed?
Yeah, I sat around for a while, kind of figured out what I was going to do with my life. And I was 25 years old, and I remember watching Johnny Carson one night. And at that time, your friends slowly go away, and family members kind of shy away. And I was in my apartment all by myself and wondering what the hell I was going to do with the rest of my life. And that's when I decided to go back to college. And so I did. I went 2 years at Blackhawk Junior College to see if I could do it, and then I ended up at the University of Illinois College of Engineering, and I graduated from there with a software engineering degree. And from there, I went to work for IBM in Austin.
So that's how you got from Illinois to Austin. How long did you work for IBM?
I worked from 83 to 97.
A programmer?
As a software, on the PowerPC group, I did all the timing analysis for the PowerPC chip that came back out, and it was out in the 90s. I did the work on that.
So when you left IBM, did you retire? Did you?
Well, I retired from programming. I kind of, well, since then I've gotten 4 patents, 3 U.S. and 1 Canadian patent. Hold a patent for lateral tilt where the chair will tilt side to side. And I hold a patent for automatically leveling the chair. There's a patent for, if it notices you've been sitting still for a while, it'll automatically start tipping you back in increments of, 2 seconds, 4, so whatever you program. And, just to move your pressure point around so you don't, get a red spot. You can keep moving it around.
So, you basically invented things that would benefit yourself and other people who were paralyzed, right?
Like Benjamin Franklin said, necessity is the mother of invention.
So the challenge you had was sitting hours and hours and hours in your wheelchair without moving, and the pressure over time on the cushion would create sore spots on your bottom, and figured out the way to avoid that, like anybody else. If they're sitting on the couch too long, they get up and move around.
Right, exactly.
Your conclusion was, well, just move me around in the wheelchair automatically, and that'll solve the problem. Does it work?
Well, it works, definitely works. And so many times you're outside, it's fine, you're moving around, and it's great, but as soon as you come in, you watch a movie, you forget you're just sitting there, and you're just crushing your skin, you don't realize it because you can't feel it. So if you don't know it, that's why I got the chair, let's let the chair do it for me.
Well, I know, we teach in rehabilitation, spinal cord injured people to lift themselves. We teach the paras to push down and lift themselves every 15 minutes.
That's what I do all the time when I lean forward.
And we teach the quadriplegics to take their power wheelchairs and tip back at least once an hour. And we know from the studies that actually reduces the rate of pressure breakdown. But what you're doing is not depending on somebody. All of that depends on somebody to be physically able to move themselves around, and
Exactly.
It depends on them to be able to remember whenever something's, the time is up. But like you said, if you're watching a movie or doing your job or whatever, time flies, and you just don't do that, and all of a sudden you've got a problem that you didn't plan for, didn't expect, and causes you to have to be immobilized for weeks at a time, sometimes even have surgery.
Right, exactly. And then I realized, too, the world was made to drain water outside your house. You go outside, there's really nothing level. I got a really beautiful backyard, and I always wanted to go in the back and sit, but I always found myself sitting in one spot, facing one direction, that's kind of uphill and not sideways to the hill, and that's where the lateral tilt wheelchair came into being, was I wanted to go out in my yard and sit anywhere I wanted to.
And the yard wasn't flat.
Exactly.
So you needed to feel like you were sitting level, while the chair was actually on a sideways slant, right?
Exactly. Another use I was thinking of was, my wife does an awful lot of work around us. We have this really beautiful home, a big yard. She maintains all of that and me. And one I thought, well, what I could do is fix up, we have a really nice lawnmower. I could take that seat off and put my wheelchair seat on with the lateral tilt wheelchair in it, invention in it, and that way I could mow the yard. At least that's something I could do to help her around the house.
And?
Never did it yet. It's there. I just need more money.
I hear that. So, Hank, you're basically an inventor, an experimenter. What else do you do with your time? What's your hobbies?
My hobbies are just sitting outside thinking of things to do with the stuff I have now. I get on the computer and look at inventions. I got a guy developing stuff for me down in out of Corpus, using SolidWorks. Couple companies up in Connecticut help build some of the coverings for some of the things I've built.
So you're actually manufacturing the
some
devices?
Stuff, nothing big.
Do you have a business plan? Are your idea is to take these inventions and to market them worldwide, I suppose?
We do. I just got a gentleman involved. He's an old friend of mine. He's out of Canada. Him and his son have gotten involved with me and my company, Horizon Tech. And he's put a little money into it, but it's not very much. Our idea is to grow it from there. I got some more products being developed here in Houston, actually. And when I get those, we're gonna see what we can do. Take them around the shows and show them. And we've already sold 3 of my Omni-Tilt switches. That's where the chair automatically finds level. If you're going down a hill, it'll automatically tilt you back. If you go uphill, it'll automatically tilt you forward a
But
little
wait,
bit.
I mean, that's something you didn't talk about before. So a lot of people who use wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, find themselves going down a hill, down a driveway, down a ramp, and they feel like they're going to fall forward because the chair doesn't adapt to that, and the seat is static, so they can't lean back.
This will fix that.
And you have a device that actually keeps them level under
I
those
do, and
circumstances?
it works great too. And one
I
of
mean,
them-
do you have to, is it automatic?
It's automatic. You flip it into tilt or automatic level mode, and you go down the hill, just nose down it, let it find its level, and just go down it. You don't have to do anything.
So every wheelchair user in San Francisco ought to have one of these, right?
Yes, yes. I could probably make a living just in San Francisco.
So you've developed this, and are you mass producing them now?
I just don't have the money to get it going. You know, I've never really, I invented it for me, and I didn't really think much about anybody else and how I can do it than people. Everybody wants me to, everybody likes it that sees it, but, you know, nobody hands me any money. you
Well,
know.
this is the technology transfer challenge. You got an engineer like yourself who has a great idea, has a reason to build something, does it, and then the question is, how do people who can use it get it? I mean, it sounds like you need to have a business partner who's knows business as well as you know engineering.
I actually have, I just got the guy. So
So now you're going to be looking for investors,
now
right?
we're looking for investors.
Huh. Well, send me your pro forma, your business plan
Oh,
when you get it together.
Next week, maybe.
Yeah, good. Well, you know, there may be, if people wanted to get in touch with you, either because they want one of your devices or because they're interested in your business, how would they do that? Your name of your company is Horizon Tech?
Horizon Tech, I'm based out of Round Rock, Texas. My address is 7 Ridge Meadow Way, Round Rock 78664.
78664
664.
is the zip code, and the address again?
7 Ridge Meadow Way,
7 Ridge Meadow, 2 words,
one word. 7 Ridge Meadow Way, Ridge Meadow is one word.
Round Rock, Texas.
Round Rock, Texas.
Okay. Well, who knows, Hank, I hope you do well with that venture. Now, you're also famous because you're in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting little thing. There's a software program called Swipe. It's on all the Samsung phones. It's where you just put a keyboard up and you just swipe over and every word happens to have a unique pattern to it, like Hank. You go put your finger on H, slide it to A, over to slide to N, and slide up to K, and then lift your finger off, and that pattern is Hank. So when you do that, it writes it, okay? And this guy that I'm doing business with now, a colleague up in Canada, he's the inventor of that. He created that guy, and he there's a show in Florida called ATI. I forget what ATIA stands for. But anyway, it's for disabled people also. Yeah, he invited me to go down there and set the Guinness World Record.
So you just sat at a show over and over again using this device on the Samsung?
Well, I thought it was going to be just a little booth. He said, we want you to go down and set the record.
Yeah,
So
how long did you do it?
oh God, I wish I'd have brought that saying. It's something that
Yeah.
piranhas and.
So you were there like an hour or something?
Oh no, I spent 2 or 3 days down
2
there.
or 3 days running this up. Well, yeah, that's a good one. I'll look it up in the Guinness Book of World Record. Hope you all do too. This is Lex Frieden. We're here with Hank Torres, and we'll be right back with more Focus after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden. We're here today with Hank Torres. Hank is the managing director of Horizon Tech, a company that builds gadgets that help people with disabilities be more independent. And Hank, you have invented, you told me you had 4 patents,
Yes.
and you've invented many more things, no doubt. The work that you do is interesting, but since you're working all the time, occasionally you have to take a break, and I understand recently you took a cruise.
Yeah, we took the infamous cruise on the Triumph to the Cozumel that got stranded in the Gulf on the way back.
So you took off with family members,
Yeah, there was a total of 31 of us that went, family and friends, mostly family.
checked in at Galveston on a Saturday or Sunday and
It was a Thursday, I think,
Thursday, and you were planning on a 4-day cruise
and coming back on Monday.
to Cozumel, just a nice long weekend with the family.
Uh-huh.
And after 3 days, everything changed, right?
It was Sunday morning early, 5:30 in the morning, between 5 and 5:30. Me and my wife were laying in bed. She's asleep, and I'm kind of half awake, and then we hear noise, and we hear alarms going off, and then I'm waking her up to see what the hell's going on. And first I'm admiring. I could not see my hand in front of my face. It's so dark, and we're on the second deck.
In the cruise ship.
Right
and-
above the engine we were. And we heard people running up and down the hallways, which isn't a good sign. And then we heard,
Well, not at 5 o'clock in the morning.
no, not fine. And then you hear this, the alarm's going off, and you hear Alpha Team report here. And somewhere in there I heard there's a engine fire in the engine room. My wife says there wasn't one. She don't remember it, but I do. And then somebody come knocking on our door telling us to get our life vests and to go to our muster station. So my wife is trying to get me out of bed. So
Right, I mean,
we're getting ready.
You've been, in the middle of the night, you're sleeping, and,
Yes, and-
and you need help dressing and getting
Yeah,
prepared to get in your wheelchair.
I need 100% help getting dressed.
Altogether, that takes how long typically?
Probably about an hour and a half from
Yeah.
just waking up to getting in, sitting in my
Being
chair.
rolled in the bed and the pants pulled up and the whole
All
drill.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
we do that every day. So here you are, and they're telling you your life is in danger. There's fire sirens going off, people running down the hall, and your wife is working as fast as possible.
Yeah, as fast as possible.
Trying to break a record, getting you in the wheelchair so they could get you out of danger, right?
We could hear everybody in the hallway, and everybody got out,
So it
and,
got quiet again when
got
everybody
quiet.
had evacuated.
But then somebody come banging on our door. You could hear the fear of God in his voice, banging on it, telling us, get out now.
Oh, this was probably somebody who was taking roll upstairs and
Yeah.
realized you all weren't there.
Yeah, this was definitely a worker. And he was banging, he was screaming, get out now, there's a fire. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. And so my wife is kind of really, well, not kind of, she was really upset. And I told her, go find your family.
Well, she's probably crying. I mean,
Well,
good
yeah,
grief,
exactly.
how frightened can
So
you be?
I told her, go find your family, and if you can, come back and get me. I'm not going to sit here and watch this boat go down with you in there.
So you basically, at that point, said, sacrifice me, save yourself.
Exactly. I was stuck in bed. She wasn't just going to throw my butt in the chair and we're out of there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. And she says, no, I'm not leaving you. So I thought, I guess I'm going to keep her around for
So
a
she
while.
wanted to go down with you. If you're going,
Yes,
we'll
exactly.
go together. Still continuing with tears in her eyes to get
So
you.
I told her to go prop the door open.
Okay.
So we're kind of ready to go, but I just needed more. She can get me in the chair by herself, but
But the
it takes
guys that
time.
were knocking on the door, they didn't come in
They
to
did
help.
come back. They came back, and then one guy came in. He just looked at me, goes, "Get in the chair." It's like, no, it don't happen that way. He goes, well, you got to go now. Get in the chair. So, and my wife's trying to tell him it don't happen. So he went and got somebody else, and they actually physically, 3 people put me in the chair right away.
Okay, so he went back and they
Yeah.
lifted you into the wheelchair.
They got me.
That's after your wife had spent a considerable amount of time helping you get your pants on and everything.
So then we go all the way down to the staircase to go up to the third deck, the lobby level, and we couldn't get up there because the elevators weren't working. So I was stuck down there in the lobby or on the second deck still by the
the
elevator.
one floor above where the engine is burning, perhaps.
So but right behind the elevators was this one room where you could look all the way up to the top of the boat.
Oh, the
I was
atrium
sitting-
there, yeah.
me and my wife had our life vests, and I was telling my wife, I said, okay, the boat's starting to list, and there's a fire, and they already said that the fire was out, and I thought, well, just in case, when we went back there,
Well, I mean, was there still smoke in the
oh,
hallway?
yeah, smoke, smell, everything. And so I told my wife, if something happens, I'm going to float up there, right up this little hole here. In
An engineer,
the boat.
always thinking about the dynamics of gravity, right?
So we see, I said, we're just going to float up on a little life vest, and somebody will find us and pull us to safety. But that never happened. Now I'm down on the thing there, and they wanted to take me out physically, take me out, put me in another chair, and take me upstairs. And I said, well, my batteries come out, and there's enough guys here. I mean, if you don't mind, I don't want to get out of my
Right,
chair.
right.
So the 6 guys just picked me up, muscled me up the stairs after a while. It was actually the workers said, You know, it smells too bad. We're going to get you up here, Mr. Torres. We don't want you down in all that smell.
Okay.
So the workers, the cleaning
So the
crew,
Carnival cruise ship staff, who were so
The cleaning crew.
roundly criticized by the media, are the ones who essentially saved you from...
they were my heroes. The cleaning staff on the boat, those guys were my heroes. They're the ones that picked me up and shuffled me.
Six guys, not their job, but they got you in your wheelchair up the steps to the safer level. The boat's still listing. Now, you had to deal with this, no elevators for how many days?
Well, it happened Sunday morning. We didn't get out the boat till late Thursday night. No electricity, all in between. We had there were some outlets working. You know, charge my chair. I could charge my chair at night.
Did they lift you back up and down the steps every day?
You know, every now and then, you know, to do my regular routines that I needed every other day or so, the crew would lift me down the stairs when the elevators weren't working, and we would go get cleaned up in a room and that, and then come back up, and if the elevators weren't working, they would take me back up, you know, manually.
So the elevators were intermittent. There were
Intermittent,
sometimes
yes.
you were able to catch it.
Yes, it was.
And where did you stay then most of the time?
As you're looking at the lobby, I stayed probably 20 feet to the left on 3 mattresses.
So right there near the service desk on the main lobby where everybody boards and deboards.
And I got to watch everybody's complaint, hear everybody's complaint, because I was right there.
So they built you a little bed near the
My wife
service.
stacked 3 mattresses up for me, and that way I could slide off onto 3 mattresses, and then.
And
I
the
had
crew was happy to have you there.
Yes.
The-
It was like one big slumber party. Everybody brought their mattresses from the room, because those rooms are so dark at night. I mean, you can't see nothing in them. And as they drug the whole deck outside was lined with mattresses. The lobby was lined with mattresses. It was just one big, huge slumber party.
And the rest of your family, 31 people, they're just scattered around the ship on
Just
that?
yeah, we all found, we all had a good time. We still enjoyed the cruise, and we still had plenty of food to eat.
Was there entertainment? I guess.
Yes, they did provide entertainment, what they could. They still had the singer down in the lobby, every day.
Did you do karaoke?
No,
And the magician, did he come by and change your sheets for you or anything?
no.
But and you got plenty to eat. There was food.
Plenty of water. We still found a reason to smile every day. I mean, it was like, I used my auto leveling on the boat. It's like, it just worked on the boat.
So if those guys from CNN were here now telling you they heard other kinds of stories, what would you say?
I'm telling you my story. Other people did have, I guess, their horror stories, but a stub toe to some people is like a broken leg to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, you're accustomed to living with a disability every day. This just seemed like a walk in the park, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I just got up and it was the same thing. It was the same thing for me. It's like, it's like I wait for a living. I wait to get out of bed. I wait for breakfast. I wait for things to happen all day long. The only thing I can do is go watch TV or get on my computer.
Okay.
So these people got up having to do what I do every day. It's like they would get up and like, now what?
All right.
Now what?
So Hank, now you turned out pretty good. You got a free cruise. I understand they gave you compensation, and they also gave you tickets to another cruise, right?
Yes, they did. They paid me the compensation. They said they reimbursed me for my expenses. They put me up in a really swanky resort when we landed in Mobile. It was so late, and I was up in the chair so long, they just took us to some resort and put us up there for a couple of days, and then we flew home to Houston, and from Houston, a family member drove to Galveston, got my van, come up to Houston, picked me up, and we went home.
It's a good outcome. Well, Hank, congratulations on that. Carnival probably want to hire you as a pitch man after this story, because they got a lot of...
Carnival was wonderful. My hat's off to them.
Okay.
My hat's off to them. They did a really good job, I thought.
Hank, we appreciate you being on Focus on Abilities today, sharing this story with us, and also talking with us about the inventions you've made. You're an incredible person, an inventor, an adventurer, and
an adventure now.
Good friend. Glad to have you as a fellow Texan here advocating for the rights of people with disabilities and doing whatever you can to make life better for people with disabilities. So we appreciate you being on Focus on Abilities.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on here too, Lex.
Any kind of final comments you'd make to a person watching this show that has a challenge with their own disability?
Yeah, life is what you make it, I think. I mean, like, you can choose to get up and be sad all day or smile.
Okay.
Just like on the boat. We still had a good time. We still enjoyed it. we still smile. We found stuff to be happy about.
So the key is find something to smile about.
Everything's up to you. Yeah.
Okay. Hank, thanks a lot. I want to thank all of you for watching Focus on Abilities today. Had an interesting discussion, and I hope it encourages you to want to tune in next time for more Focus on Abilities. I'm Lex Frieden, your host. This is HTV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Focus on Abilities was brought to you by Tier Memorial Hermann, redefining rehabilitation, removing barriers, re-enabling independence, and the ILRU Southwest ADA Center, promoting compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act.